What's going on, you guys? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into another video. In today's video, as you can tell, I'm kind of going to be going on a little bit of a tangent about NHL referees. It's been getting worse and worse, and the calls, in my opinion, I don't know if it's because I'm just noticing it more, but it's just getting worse and worse. Now, I have some clips here to show you, and I do want to preface and just make this disclaimer that I'm not just showing you these clips and saying that the Canucks are the only team getting bad calls against them. For those of you guys who do not know, the Vancouver Canucks are my favorite team, and I'm not showing you this just because I think the Canucks are the only team getting these calls, or the only team not getting these calls, I should say. I think it's around the whole entire league, but the only team I watch on a consistent basis is the Canucks, so it's really the only time I notice these kind of calls happening or not happening. So I have a few clips here from the past week or so, a few games that the Canucks have played, and these are just some obvious calls that should be, and some non-calls as well. And I just want to talk about them because holy has it been bad. Before we get into it though, as always, if you guys are new to the channel, it would mean a lot if you guys subscribed, like the video if you enjoyed. Let's dive in. So I don't think it's a surprise to people that the NHL refs sway games. I think they're genuinely told to go out there and keep games close. It's very obvious. If penalties are 0-4 for one team, you can pretty much guarantee, unless something super obvious like a delay of game or too many men or something, that the other team's going to be getting 4 penalties their way to try to even it out. It's just the way the NHL is. I absolutely hate it. I understand why they do it, to keep games close. I get that. But it is just so dumb. It's such a pity thing. If a team's taking a whole bunch of penalties, call it. Who cares if that team takes 10 penalties that game? Maybe they just need to be more disciplined, and they deserve to take those penalties. It punishes teams who try to have a perfect game and play a clean game, because if penalties are 4-0 one way, the refs are going to call just the cheesiest stuff the other way to make it even. Even if that team is legitimately playing a clean game, there's going to be something that's so borderline a penalty, and the refs are going to call it to keep it even. I've seen it for the Canucks, and I've seen it against them, so I know it happens just around the league. It's the dumbest thing to me, the absolute dumbest thing, and it actually makes watching kind of hard sometimes. There's a couple times, I will show you the clips here. I'm using the Canucks as an example. Like I said at the beginning, it's not because I just think it's happening to them, it's just relatable to me, so I can actually explain some situations where the game's close and the refs just call the most absurd things at the most absurd times, and it makes zero sense. No consistency across the board. I've seen the Canucks get called penalties for tripping, and then the exact same play happens vice versa on the next game, and the refs don't call it. The consistency between refs are just insane from game to game. It is, I don't understand how there's not. I know a lot of it comes down to just personal judgment on the play. I get that. Every ref's going to have their personal their personal thoughts on the call, and that's why some things are going to be different, but there needs to be more black and white rules on what is and what isn't a penalty. I don't know. It's getting really hard to watch. Let me show you the first clip here. This is the Canucks versus the Jets, and there was just a big hit by, I think it was Adam Lowry, and then Phil DiGiuseppe went in to fight. And the big thing is they called this an instigator penalty on Phil DiGiuseppe, which we've started to see this more and more in the NHL, where if there's a clean hit and somebody goes in to fight, then it's an instigator penalty. But why this doesn't make sense to me is that Adam Lowry made the hit, and he was the first one to throw off his gloves expecting a fight to happen. They literally clenched. Adam Lowry and DiGiuseppe clenched, and Lowry had both his gloves off, and Phil DiGiuseppe didn't. He still had one glove on, or if not both, which in that case is not an instigator penalty. Phil DiGiuseppe's not going around trying to fight Adam Lowry. Let's play it here. So you can see the big hit by Adam Lowry. Some people said he jumped, some didn't. I don't care. But Adam Lowry literally had his gloves off first. I'm going to try to skip forward here and see if it shows the replay. Let's just see if I can find a replay. There may or may not be one. Okay, there isn't one, but let's go back to where the fight actually happened. And so the hit was made, and then boom. Okay, it's really hard to see, but right there you can see Adam Lowry actually throw off his gloves to fight, and DiGiuseppe still has his gloves on. Both the gloves are down, and then he lets his off. So I think this is just a clean understanding that the hit was made and there's going to be a fight. You can literally see the two guys looking at each other like after the hit was made, and they're both in agreement. We're fighting. It's clear as day. Watch this. Clear as day. Boom. It's not like Giuseppe grabbed him and forced him into the fight. Lowry was 100,000,000% accepting of this fight that's coming, which makes the instigator just make no sense. And now I know it's not just the Canucks this happens to. I've seen this all the time. It's just mind-blowing to me. All right, I got another one. This one is the Canucks versus the Colorado Avalanche. I have absolutely no idea how this was a penalty. There's 3 minutes left. The Canucks are down by 1 goal, and they call this a penalty on Ian Cole. This is the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, how is that a penalty? I watched it at the time. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, Colton's skating down that side, and all Ian Cole does is put his stick up on his waist and just like taps him with a little waist shot. And look at Colton just flailing. It's like he was going down regardless. Look at the way he flails. Bro is falling down regardless if Ian Cole's stick hit his waist. And these are the type of just bogus calls I see refs make all the time. It makes no sense whatsoever. Now, here's another one. This is mind-blowing. This feels like I'm going on just a Canucks penalty call tangent, and I'm not trying to do that. Like I said, it's just the clips that make sense. So this is a penalty on Lindholm for roughing. What makes no sense, you can see Eriksson Ek hits, I think that's Quinn Hughes by our bench. I think that's Quinn Hughes. Maybe that's Bluger. And you can see number 23 right here where my mouse is, if you can see my mouse. Lindholm comes over, gives Eriksson Ek a little shove right there, and boom, the refs called that. They called that roughing for that little tiny push right here. Bang. And they called that roughing. Bro, if that's not some of the softest BS you've ever seen in your life, I don't know what is. And then last but not least, a missed call. I don't understand how stuff like this gets missed. You can see in front of the net, Ian Cole standing there. Oh, this is a different clip that I was thinking. This is PD getting cross-checked in the head. I don't get what refs are looking at. PD's in front of the net battling right here. That's clearly a cross-check in the back of the head. I know it wasn't like, obviously it wasn't intentional, but it clearly happened. And then this one on Ian Cole here. Guy just drive-by, little headshot. Like, the ref's right in the corner. I don't understand how he doesn't see that happen or what's going through his head. I'm a firm believer. I think NHL refs should have to answer to media after games. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think they should have to explain themselves on some of their penalties and why they think it's a penalty. NHL refs right now are just making it really hard for me to enjoy the game. I still am going to watch. I'm a big hockey fan and I love my team, so I'm watching regardless. But holy, it's frustrating sometimes. And I even see it where the Canucks get calls where I'm like, that wasn't a penalty. I don't get that. It happens all the time. Let me know down in the comments your guys' thoughts. So I really just wanted to make a rant video. I don't do this very often, but I really wanted to rant because it was fresh on my mind. And I still just can't believe what I'm seeing every night. But let me know down in the comments your guys' opinions. How do you guys feel about the reffing so far this year? What's your guys' thoughts? Are you guys in agreement with me, yes or no? And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.